Okay, take two. We're trying this again. Let's see if we can find her. If you weren't on a couple minutes ago, we're going to be doing a live with Amanda Moresco, writer, director, producer. Most recently, she did the Lamborghini movie. So let's see if we can get her in here because I have some questions. And if you guys have questions too, just don't hesitate, write them down. I will do my best to see them. I can't make promises, but I will try. Hi. I'm good. How are you? In the meantime, make sure you follow Magnesium Media. Make sure you follow my backup, magnesium.media, and YouTube channel. Don't forget, I'm posting things daily. Oh, hey, also, if you missed it before, tomorrow I'm going to be doing some fun and interesting stuff with Speed and Stilettos. We're going to be doing videos, pictures, fun stuff. I'll try while I'm there too, so I can't tell you when. It'll just be sometime tomorrow, so you just have to pay attention. And there we are. Hi, Amanda, how are you?
Hi, Stephanie. Nice to talk to you, live.
Wonderful. I always have technical difficulties in the beginning. It's got to be on my end because it's every single time.
Yeah, Instagram Live is finicky.
Yes, that it is. Absolutely. So I was telling everybody, you're a writer, director, producer. You most recently worked on the Lamborghini movie, but I would like you to give everybody a bio.
Oh, sure. So I am a writer-director. I grew up in New York City. My father is prominent in the business. He is a writer, director, producer, pretty successful. So I've gotten many wonderful opportunities through him and got to really learn the film industry on sets as opposed to in school. So all of my training has been through working for him, and that gives me a lot of privilege, I know. But I try to share the wealth of knowledge that I've gathered over 20 years working in these wonderful experiences through him. I was his assistant for about 15 years.
Oh, wow.
In one of the last projects I worked on with him before I stopped working out of his office was Lamborghini. Lamborghini's been in development for quite some time. So it's been fun. I got to go on a location scout with him for Lamborghini. I got to see the house Lamborghini grew up in. I got to see where he built his tractors. It was great. We met his whole family. So I was really lucky that the tail end of my work with him included the Lamborghini. So when we got to see it finally come to fruition and go to the premiere, it was pretty special. So that's pretty much me. Lots of other projects through him, but now I write my own stuff and I'm directing my own things and that kind of thing. So very excited about that as well.
That's amazing. So many things you said lead me into questions that I already have. So
let's do it.
Hold on, let me get so I can see. I take notes because otherwise I'm lost. Okay. So now, first of all, you actually started, now did you start working with him or did you start actually acting and then decide that you wanted to be more behind the scenes?
Yes. So I always, it's hard because he was a construction worker when I was a child. That was his job. He didn't really we didn't move to LA until I was 18, but he always had a theater company. So I was surrounded by actors and writers. And so even growing up in New York City in this tough little neighborhood and him being a construction worker, I was still given the allowance to dream about I could possibly be one of those things one day. It was always a possibility. So growing up around that, I was always writing poems and writing little plays. And I did start as an actress. I feel like a lot of us come to it through acting because acting is so much fun and it doesn't require anything. You can hop on a stage and you can act, you could, take classes in improv, and you should. Everybody should take an improv class every now and then, right? Because it gives you so many life skills you don't even realize you need to be able to talk in front of people and manage your stress level. So yeah, I started as an actress and I loved acting, but my real love was writing, and so I concentrated on writing when I had my son, which is a lot of stories that you hear when women have their babies.
Yep.
I had to give a lot more of my attention to him. So I started writing primarily and really fell in love with it and really started to understand structure. So story structure is different than screenwriting, and that was the thing that I was being taught. And once I started to really understand that, things really started to take a turn for me, because I understood what my value was more than just any other screenwriter. I could understand structure, which is a very difficult thing to understand. So now I teach it. So now I teach structure as well. And then I started directing. I got opportunities through friends directing. And I found that my knowledge for writing, my knowledge for story structure, my knowledge as an actor sort of all came together to give me these skills to be a director. And that really swept me off my feet. So now I'm obsessed with directing. I just finished shooting a short in Paris, which was amazing.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. I have a couple of other projects lined up in 2023. So my full focus right now is really on creating, directing projects for myself. So that is my very long bio.
Well, that's great. The longer, the better, right? I mean, you don't want a tiny little short bio. Real quick, let's touch on, you mentioned your dad. Okay, your dad was actually going to join us, but he just had surgery. Okay, so
he had knee surgery.
Yeah,
he's,
I told him I
laid out in bed.
It's not going to be running loud or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, he's sleeping.
Good. Well, we wish him well, absolutely, and a speedy recovery.
Thank you.
Okay, so you also touch. I want to definitely get to the program and stuff that you're doing for writing and everything. Absolutely. But first, can you tell me? You did mention you got to see Lamborghini's house where he grew up, some interactions with the family, things like that. Fill me in.
Oh, so yeah, so Tonino Lamborghini wrote a book about his father, and that is how the whole thing came about. The wonderful Il Verlino production company put the whole package together. My father signed on to write and direct, and this was way before the pandemic. We got to travel to Italy to do scouting and also research. So we spent 2 weeks in Bologna, all in northern Italy, traveling all around and following pretty much his life story, where he grew up as a child. There was, in his garage at the house where he grew up was where he first started to get the idea for this tractor after he came home from the war. We met his son. We met lots of members of his family, and it was just really magical. Even the historical aspect of this huge Italian giant, to be there in his hometown, and you could just feel the pride that everybody has for him and his name there, and it was just pretty special. And then we got to see the very first Lamborghini factory. We got to see the Lamborghini showroom and got to see Lamborghinis. And
you're gonna be goosebumps
that was
talking
cool.
about it. You're gonna know just talking about it. That had to be amazing, just even stepping foot in that place.
It was incredible. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not a car aficionado. Like I know what everybody knows what a Lamborghini is, but really what blew me away was this personal story about this man who started as an everyday person and then rose to greatness. And everybody really understands that and reveres him for that. And that really is what makes the whole thing pretty special.
Absolutely, I agree. I love history in movies, shows, and stuff like that. So anything that's a true story, I'm in 100%. And it's like, it really gives you I don't even know what to call it. Like I get involved when I'm watching something. So I really picture myself in there, and I'm with them, and I'm seeing it and I'm feeling it, and the history is just amazing to me. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that definitely blew me away too.
Okay, so now you said this actually got started before the pandemic. So how far back are we going? When was this starting?
Let me think about that. I want to say that it was when we did that scout, it was 2017 was this location scout. That was, we hadn't written anything. We were literally scouting locations, getting the research, meeting the family, compiling notes. I was walking around with a tape recorder, taping all of these conversations and then transcribing the notes when we got home. And it was just pages and pages and pages of research to sit down and say, okay, well, what's the story now? And then beating out the story with the story structure and trying to find the right? The take on a man's life. You can't really tell the story of just a person's whole life because, you know, then it gets tedious, right? We want to know the important details and what the important details are that we need to include to tell this story. So there's a lot of work that goes, that is involved in it. So it started in 2017. And then they had a script and they shot it. It takes place in two different time periods. We meet Lamborghini as a boy, as a young adult when he meets his wife, and when he first comes home from the war and he starts to build tractors. And then we fast forward in time to Lamborghini as an adult deciding that he wants to get away from tractors and start building cars. So it's two different time periods. So they shot the first half of the movie with the Lamborghini, 20 somethings, and then the pandemic hit. So we had to put production on hold and pick it up with Lamborghini as an adult, which kind of worked out kind of perfect because there was this air to breathe between Lamborghini as the son and Lamborghini as the adult, and it didn't hurt too much because it wasn't the same actors. So
good. Now somebody actually just asked a question a little bit up. They asked, was it filmed on the family estate? Where did, I know you did a bunch of scouting and everything, where was the filming actually done?
A lot of the filming was done in Cento, which is where he grew up, I believe, right? So a lot of the filming was done in Cento. It was done throughout Bologna as well, and some of it was filmed in Rome. It was filmed on location in Italy, different parts of Italy.
Excellent.
The whole thing. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Frank Grillo, who plays adult Lamborghini. Now, he did like amazing. Okay. Did you just see him for the part, or did he actually have to read for it?
Well, what happened was when we came back after the pandemic and had to put the pieces together for the second half of the movie, Frank was available. And, you know, Frank has this amazing charisma about him. And that is what, you know, the thing about Lamborghini, when you watch the interviews, it's not just him as a genius, it's him as this incredibly charismatic man that you just want to listen to. So the pieces all sort of fell together in this magical way, and Frank is Italian as well, and so he's first generation Italian American, and so his family is from Italy. So he was so excited to be able to go back to Italy and film there, and it was just in his heart, and it all worked out for the best because he kills it.
Yeah, he absolutely does. He does an amazing job. Okay, so I have a question. While I'm watching the movie, there was one thing that I could not figure out. Okay, what is the significance of the race that we see throughout the movie between Lamborghini and Ferrari? Is it supposed to represent like the inner rivalry? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's not actually that they raced, but it's supposed to show the...
You know, I think it all hinges on the moment where Ferrari says, go back to your tractors, farmer.
Okay.
And then from that moment on, it's a race for Lamborghini to prove that he's more than just a farmer, that he's more than what Ferrari thinks he is. And so it really is this symbolic race of him against the idea of who Ferrari is, until at the end he loses everything because of that race. This mental exercise that he's doing to try to prove himself and try to be better and try to be better and try to be the best. He lost everything for it. And so the question of the movie really is, was it worth it or not? And the thing that I love most about it is that, you know, we don't really answer it, you know, because at the end of the day, he still did achieve greatness.
Right.
So whether he beat Ferrari or not is the open-ended question. However, he still achieved greatness, but at what cost? So, you know, it's not a movie that gets wrapped up in a bow. It's just not. It's a movie that leaves you with a lot of questions of, are your dreams worth it? What are you willing to lose for your dreams? What are you willing to give up for your dreams? And will you ever be able to not be in a race against yourself or your greatest rival? It's supposed to be symbolic.
Yeah. I'm curious. The one part that just broke my heart was obviously when his wife died, giving birth. And I'm so curious that if things were different, would his life have been different? Because his whole attitude changed. His whole
Right.
output on life, everything changed at that moment. So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
he wouldn't have been so determined to just win, win, win. You know what I mean?
I really like that you brought that up, because that really is the crux of the whole story. Because when you go back to the beginning and you look at what he did mortgage. Spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it, but he mortgages his family's farm for his dream, which his wife Clelia says is selfish.
Yes.
And then when his best friend turns around and leaves him, he says to him, "I thought that it was Clelia's death that turned you into this person, but I realized you were always this person." And who is the kind of person that can achieve greatness? Do they have to have that kind of greatness or nothing personality from the start? Or is it someone that they become? It really is a character study. If it's anything, it's a character study on, was he that way from the beginning or not?
Yeah.
And that is the great question of I'd like to think of Lamborghini's life, is what would have been if Clelia hadn't died. And that's not taken away from Anita and how amazing Anita is, and Mira Sorvino also kills it,
Oh,
in my
absolutely.
opinion.
Absolutely.
Anita was a great figure into Nino's life, for sure. She was the savior. She is the strong savior character in the movie, and so it is a tragic tale. In a lot of ways, it's a tragic tale.
Was it? How much did you have to cut out? Like I know, like you said, you took so much. You had so much research. How difficult was that cutting out and fitting it to this one movie?
Stephanie, I'll tell you the truth. Being around filmmakers my whole life. So sorry, are we here?
Yep, we're here.
Being around filmmakers my whole life, yes, good?
Yep, we're good. I hear you.
Okay. There's always this regret of, we ran out of time, we ran out of resources, we didn't get this in, we lost this. And so of course there's stuff that we wish we could have gotten in. I mean, I think every filmmaker feels that way, no matter who you ask. You're always looking at the film going, I really wish we could have got that in. There was a lot of sections in there that we couldn't get. The movie at the end, one of the biggest moments of the movie is Anita. Anita tells him, luxury cars are going to be the first thing that goes. And as soon as your workers realize that they don't need you, they need the paycheck, they're going to turn against you. Ferruccio. And he doesn't want to believe it. And of course, Anita predicts the future.
Yep, she was right.
She was right, but you can't have a movie be 3 hours long. Nobody wants a 3-hour long movie, and the movie is short and sweet, and it's supposed to be short and sweet. And so there is stuff that we would have liked to get in, but felt like it was slowing the movie down, like those kinds of things. And then you go, well, what did it have slowed the movie down? But you know what? At the end of the day, you have to be happy with what you got and be proud of what was done, and we are proud of it. But sure, and then lots of details. The father dies, the mother dies. There's tons of many moments in Lamborghini's life that we wanted to include, but again, you have a limited time frame, and when you're telling the story, and ultimately it had to be about the sacrifice he made to build the Lamborghini empire. Is that effective or not to include that in the story? And you have to make hard decisions. So the answer is yes, but it's normal to feel that way.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What is next for you? What do you have in the works right now?
Well, I have, right now I am developing a feature, a 90-minute feature. A playwright, Joanna Pickering, wrote this amazing play. We developed it as a play. It's won many awards. It's about two girls who go to a party island and get stranded there and find a dead body in their bathtub.
Oh.
So it's this really a neat crime thriller, noirish tale of what happens when females go on vacation to these tropical islands, and what ensues, and who's bad, who's not. And so I'm really excited about it. We're writing it now, and we are set to shoot it in spring. We're putting the production together now, and I'm going to direct it. So I'm very excited about that. That's immediately what's next. And then I've got like 5 other things. You know, we have many things in the air. So that's what's next for
Good.
me.
Well, this one, that's right up my alley. So I'm definitely going to see that.
I'll keep you posted.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so what you mentioned in the beginning, okay, is that you actually run a program to help people when it comes to writing and everything like that. So tell us all about that.
Sure, I will. So again, at some point I started to realize that I understood story structure, but when I was going out to workshops and meeting up with my writer friends, I was realizing that not many people do. So I felt, all right, I have an obligation to share. So I created a couple of different programs. I have a digital course. It's on my website, and what it does is it teaches the different facets of story structure, all of the pieces that you have to have in place for a screenplay before you write. The whole idea is that you have to have this worked out before you write, because so many of us sit down to write screenplays and we get lost on page 55 because we can't find our way through it, right? We have a beginning and we have an end, and the middle sinks us every time. So I sort of like give us tools to help us through the middle, and it's called Writing by Structure, and it's Writing X Structure. If you follow me on Instagram, I post all about it, and I have my business page attached to my personal profile. You can find it easily. I'm giving a 20% Christmas discount on that digital course, and then I also teach a workshop where we write a screenplay together over 16 weeks time, and really show all of the different processes that you have to go to, and that if you follow these processes, you will be able to finish a screenplay in 4 months time. And I've done at least four rounds of it right now, and many of my students are seeing wonderful rewards from working through this program. One of my writers just placed in the top 10 of the final draft competition. I have so many others that their short films are winning awards, and I'm really proud of it. And I keep it really affordable, again, because I was given so many opportunities in my life that I like to give back and help in any way that I can, right? So that's another program that I run. And I also do Q&As, free Q&As every Friday on Clubhouse. Are you familiar with Clubhouse?
I am not.
Clubhouse is an audio-only app. You download it on the App Store, you log in, and you just chat. No Zoom, no FaceTime, no nothing. It's audio only. It's kind of like a live podcast. Every Friday I do a free Q&A. So if you have any questions on screenwriting, you can hop on this audio app and ask me anything you want, and we chat for 2 hours. So, you know, I try to give back.
Yeah, that's amazing, actually. You know, I personally don't write, but my daughter does. And
oh, great.
Yeah, something like that would be fantastic. She'd love it.
Great. And I'm really passionate about it, because also doing consults, because I also do consults. I did coverage for 15 years. So I can very easily read a screenplay and understand what the problems are and what needs to get fixed. So I do a lot of consults, story consults, writing consults, and all the scripts that would come to me, I would realize if only they knew about story structure, if only they didn't just try to write it, this would be so far ahead. So I try to cut people off at the pass. So yeah, any writer, if you don't really understand cause and effect structure or, you know, cathartic storytelling, check my resources out. Lots and lots of free resources, and then paid consults and workshops.
And when I post it up, I'm going to make sure I put all that information in there. So
thank you.
And they'll see it. This was awesome. And it really it's been amazing. You're a fantastic person. I love everything that you do. And I wish your dad could have popped on. We could have said hi, but please wish him well. And I will,
Stephanie. Thank you for having me. This was wonderful. We'll keep in touch.
Yes. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.